What's up, everybody? Dr. Taylor Pascal here with Pascal Chiropractic in San Jose. I wanted to take a quick minute to touch on this concept. I'm actually going to use a quote from one of my favorite chiropractors, one of my favorite authors, Dr. B.J. Palmer. They call him the developer of chiropractic. One of his most famous quotes, and he's really got countless, is, "The preservation of health is easier than the cure for disease." That's a pretty powerful statement, and in a reactive society like this, we don't always think about being proactive, right? We usually have an issue and then we go to solve it, rather than putting systems in place to ensure that the issue never arises. This concept that the preservation of health is easier than the cure for disease ties into the conversation around how the body functions, how it grows either into wellness or into dis-ease and eventually disease. Take a cavity, for example, a dental cavity in your teeth. So by the time you're feeling that excruciating tooth pain, how long has that cavity been there? It didn't just show up the instant before you started feeling it, right? We grew into it. It was a process, and maybe less than ideal dental hygiene played a role in the development of that cavity. But I feel like in dentistry and in dental hygiene in general, people do practice more proactive dental hygiene, right? Most people have a daily brush and floss routine. Many go in occasionally to get their teeth cleaned and get checked for cavities, right? So we can extrapolate that concept of being proactive instead of reactive to other aspects of our health, right? Just like that cavity didn't show up the instant before we started feeling pain, when we talk about spinal conditions, it's much of the same, right? By the time we're feeling pain or weakness or other deficiencies as it relates to conditions of the spine, that condition has likely been there for a long time, and it might not even be the condition that is causing the symptoms or the issues that we're feeling. It might be the compensations that the body's put in place as a functional response to that initial issue. The idea that the preservation of health is easier than the cure from dis-ease just plays into that idea that it takes time to grow into that dysfunction, and the longer we've been in that dysfunction and the longer those issues have been allowed to manifest, the more difficult it is to grow out of it. For the people that are more proactive about their health, that eat well, that exercise before their kind of health situation requires them to do so, when things do come up, we see it usually resolve much quicker because they've done the other things to be proactive about their health, to preserve their wellness. We also know this to be true because of how fast kids and babies and children respond to not just chiropractic but other approaches as well. They're so young and have such low levels of stress and toxicity and tension in the body that they haven't been growing into that dysfunction for very long, that they grow out of it very fast. And then in most cases it's much easier to get to that state of wellness and balance and proper function and actually maintain it. This concept that the preservation of health is easier than the cure for disease already manifests itself in a lot of behaviors that we do, right? Like I mentioned, eating well, going to the gym, doing our mindfulness. Well, we can also apply it to the way we use chiropractic, the way just like we apply the same concept to the way we take care of our teeth, we can take care of our spine the same way, because as we've covered, we can have imbalances and functional glitches and issues in the body that have already manifested in the body and change the function, but might not necessarily manifest as symptoms or signs until further on down the road. So it takes some time for those symptoms to express themselves, often cases, outside of the acute trauma and other exceptions, of course. Many of our patients that come in with an initial complaint, finish their course of care for that complaint, they do choose to partake in the monthly wellness visits, because they know that not only are we're gonna catch some stuff that they didn't even know that they were dealing with, that hadn't started to bug them yet, but they know they're gonna be at a better level of health, a better level of function. It's gonna make their body handle stress better, they're gonna get better sleep, and they're much less likely to grow into issues, dysfunctions, and conditions in the body, because we're being proactive about getting checked and addressing those functional issues before they develop into something more serious. If you've been thinking, maybe I should go get checked for the chiropractor, but I've never had issues with my spine, the only way to really know is to get in there, do an analysis, measure some with objective technology, some functions of the body, really evaluate whether or not that body is in balance and is functioning properly, because there is not a textbook on the planet that defines health or wellness as the absence of symptoms. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. Taylor Pascal with Pascal Chiropractic in San Jose. I hope we connect soon.